Hey guys, gals, and everyone in between, Max here, and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be analyzing the Blissful 20 teams, and attempting, but probably failing, to predict the event. The teams this time around are absolutely fantastic. Sturm Cheese and the Blissful team cooked. These teams are also hella strong though, and were really hard to predict, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt, as I am human, and I'm likely 100% wrong. Before we get started, according to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. In 8th place, I have the Diamond team. On paper, this team is a very strong team. Sol is very good at Blissful. Carter had a very good newcomer performance last time he played. Danny is a great communicator, and Oni is very versatile. However, the biggest weakness I see in this team is a lack of experience. Blissful is an experience-based event, and only Oni has played more than twice up to this point. And with the teams being so strong this time around, lacking experience is going to be a big handicap. But like I said, this team is still very strong, so if this team can get a good old VOD review in, then they might be able to overcome this weakness. Next up, 7th place, in which I have the Jade team. This team's biggest weakness is their seeming lack of a pop-off player. While Moscato and Ubby tend to place highly in other Minecraft events, Blissful seems to be a kryptonite of sorts for Ubby, while Moscato has never seemed to be able to place higher than 5th, which he couldn't even do on a first place team in last Blissful. This team, however, does have some upside. Burrs has actually done really well in other Minecraft events he's played, and K has some pretty strong pop-offs to boot too. However, I think most of this team's placement will rely on Ubby, so if he does well on the day, then this team can do very well. But sadly, his previous Blissful performances do not make me feel super confident in him doing that, so I have Jade here in 7th. My 6th place team was a team initially I had higher, and I still think they can place that well. That team is the Aquamarine team. We've actually seen 3/4 of this team in Blissful 17. That team had Pickles instead of Nair, and placed 5th. So why do I have this team below that, given Nair is likely a buff over Pickles? It's mostly for 2 reasons. My first reason is something that I've already mentioned, the overall strength of this event. This event is a higher comp event than Blissful 17, and while this team is slightly stronger than its previous iteration, the teams ahead of them are extremely stronger. Although this team has had some pretty high team stat padding, most of them have had pretty strong teams in the past, which has inflated their stats. This team has potential, but it will require good chem and good performances on the day. In 5th place, I have a team that's probably the most consistent team, the Sapphire team. Like Jade, I think this team's biggest weakness is a lack of a pop-off player. However, I think this affects them to a lesser extent. This is because, like I have already said, they are consistent. Any one of them could top frag on the day, as shown by their average placement. Mud's average placement is 9th, Hash's is 15th, Dixie's is roughly 14th, and Rice's is just about 14th and a half. Of course, all of this ignores major outliers. If this team places on the higher average of their scores, they could potentially win, but if not, they could get dead last. That's why I have them roughly in the middle. At this point, we get to the teams that are ridiculously OP, and that starts us off at 4th, with the Ruby team. How this team isn't the best team in the event is shocking to me too. Cody is wildly good at Minecraft events, and probably could take a fair few teams to the finale on his own accord. Not to mention, John Dubak has done very well in past Blissfuls, and Slushy has put up amazing performances in other Minecraft events, and I'm genuinely concerned why this team isn't in 1st. Pixel is also hella underrated and has tons of potential on a good day. I can't really say why this team is higher, other than I just think the other top 3 teams are just even more broken. Following that team is the team that might give most average viewers a heart attack, the Amethyst team. This team in most events would be guaranteed 1st by 20,000 points, and I don't think I have to justify that. However, the reason why they're just outside of the finale is one thing I think might be their flaw: Blissful experience. Sure, they're really good at other events, but Blissful isn't like other events, and this team has played the least amount of Blissfuls out of all the teams. Ava's never played, Shane played a quarter of an event on the LAN team that had 14 players. Cloud played once and got 16th, which is far lower than what they usually plays. And Stu, surprisingly, has the most experiences, with 3 events under his name. I'd argue this team is the strongest team on paper, but it comes down to how much they actually bother to learn about the event, and how much experience hinders them on the day. The team I predict in second place is one that might be seen as questionable, but in second, I have the Amber team. For starters, Moisty is a sub for Silver Runs, which I think is pretty balanced given both of them are good players that were newcomers. For me, the thing that puts this team so high is just vibes. For being the stats nerd that I am, it feels wrong to say, but this team just feels like a second place team. 2 strong leaders, one more experienced than the other, plus 2 solid players to round out the team. Simple as that. I just think the remaining team does it slightly better. Which leaves one team, the Topaz team. Who gave the Silos guy another Mickey ass first place team? Like seriously, what the heck? Kaj and Toph is what Angry Birds Gamer would call a scary duos. Captain Flamey is hella underrated. I guess Silos the fraud is also there and does kinda well. But nah, in all honesty, this team is very reminiscent of Blissful 18's Amber, a team that got second but won finale, which had Kaz and Silos, along with Matt Griffin and Greninja. Matt Griffin and Flamey are very comparable in skill, and Toph is a massive buff to Greninja in any given event. That leaves Topaz as easily my biggest contender to win the whole thing. As for the finale between Topaz and Amber, I've seen this finale before. In fact, I've experienced it myself. In Blissful 16, I was on Amber and lost to an OP Topaz team. I sadly see that happening again, leaving Silos on the winning side of the coin this time around, with the Topaz team of Toph033, Kajbi, Silos, and Captain Flamey winning Blissful CC20. As promised, I also mentioned in the predictions channel of the Blissful public server, which you should totally join by the way, that I would share my predictions for the Affinity event in this video, which takes place a day before the content creator event. Here those are. I'm not as confident in these predictions, so please take them with even more of a grain of salt as my main ones. And yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me yap about Blissful for a while. Like I said at the beginning, these predictions are not meant to be anything serious, so enjoy the video as it is and don't look too much into it. I have some more videos coming out in the coming days, so get ready for those. Don't forget to like the video if you know you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!